Hi guys, I have a really special video for you today. I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful macrame pendant that was designed by Marta Jewelry. And so a lot of you guys already know and love Marta's work, but just in case she's new to you, I'm going to share a quick link to her shop. And her shop has a lot of things. There's a lot of beautiful fringe, there's patterns, there's also exquisitely made macrame jewelry. And Carmi and I have been fans of her for a long time. And so we already, reached out and did a pattern last year that was fringe earrings, but we hadn't done any macrame yet. So we asked her if she would do a pattern for John Bead. And she said yes. So today I'm presenting to you her pattern. You can do this in two different ways. You can make it with a fringy like tassel, or you can make it with just more of like a finished edge. And I'm going to show both of those versions in today's class. And then also I just wanted to share really quick some of her work because it's the most inspiring and then just so incredible. I'm going to bring it over here on the other camera where you can see a little better. Goodness, look at that. So this is one of her newest designs. It's a fringe earring, and the cord she's working with there is very tiny. I would say it's like micro cord, probably very similar to our good broad cord. Let me show you what I'm referring to, which is a really beautiful, like a micro 100% polyester. It's waxed, a little sticky. I think if you get really, really advanced, this is the cord you might want to switch to. But today, I'm going to demo this pattern using something a little bigger. And this is also the cord that she calls out in her tutorial. And it's a great way for beginners to get going. It's not a difficult pattern, in meaning she tailored it to a beginner-friendly design. However, if macrame knotting is new to you, if you off the top of your head don't have a visual of the double hitch knots or the reverse hitch knots, some of those knots get used over and over and over again in the pattern. And so what you'll see is that referred to several times throughout the journey here. So if that is new to you, I am going to do a separate video where we just repeat the same knot over and over again to really get the knots down. If you have a little bit of experience in doing hitch knots, if you've done, different types of macrame before, where you've done, we've had a few classes, but this is probably the peak of it. Like the highest level of skill I've ever achieved in macrame was learning to do this pattern by Marta. So a lot said. I wanted to share something that on the day that I was first trying this, and to me, I have a macrame experience, but I'm not like a macrame expert. And so I was struggling just a little bit to get the cords going the right way and to get my knots to look pretty and things like that. And as I worked through that, I had to take a break, go pick up my kiddos. And this was in my son's backpack. And I thought I would share it with you guys. Just all things are difficult before they are easy. And I needed to see that on that exact day. And so I'm sharing it with you before we get started, because this is an incredible skill. And once you've got the skill in your pocket, you're going to be addicted to doing this. It's really, really fun. But you got to get through that initial, oh my goodness, this is really hard. I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And so I think it's worth the effort to get in there. So I'm going to show you guys the details of how to make this design, and that's today's class. And again, I'm going to make a couple other videos, and my other videos are going to show a simpler, maybe I'm thinking a bracelet that just repeats the knots in different directions so that we can really get the hang of that. But if you're ready for this one, let's go. I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera so we have really great focus on just the main screen here. So I'm just going to go through the steps as I work through an entire pendant. And I'm going to show you guys a couple things I forgot to mention on the earlier part of the video, but this pattern is downloadable And there's a link in the description for it. If you're already a member of our Facebook group or you have seen links on our blog, are a great way to find things. So blog.johnbead.com. Or again, I'll just put links in the description for this video. You're going to need this pattern. It is a fully like diagrammed out, step by step, how to do every step in the entire pendant. So it's pretty comprehensive. It is one of the best done patterns I have seen on macrame in a while. So it's our gift to you. I'm really excited about it. I'm proud to be presenting it because it's an incredibly well done document. So do enjoy it. And for materials, I'm going to put lots of links in the description for materials. Like I was saying earlier, when you get really good at this, or if you're already really good at it, switch down to a smaller thread. But for today's video, I'm going to be using a 1mm cord, and that is what Marta calls out in her pattern. And the 1mm cord comes in a lot of colors. I'm going to put your links to all of them again in the description, but just to show you a few. We've got greens, two different, like a seafoam and then like more of a hunter green. There's the brown. There's a couple of like lighter browns. These are almost like a clay terracotta. Really pretty. And look at this one. This one is, it's not yellow or green. It's kind of both. It's like a chartreuse, but it's a little lighter than chartreuse. Got more yellow in it. There's a really pretty rose. Look at the rose color. It's gorgeous. That would be a nice one to work with. Okay, and so, but since her pattern is done with this beautiful brown color, I thought, well, we'll go with the rustic lace color. So I really like that. Other things you're going to need. She lists out all of the materials here. And I'm going to go through and show you what I used in different things here because this is super, super flexible. Like you can use a lot of different beads, a lot of different cords. For example, here's another type of cord. This you'll recognize if you guys have followed some of our earlier patterns. That is 0.8mm Chinese knotting cord. And we carry this in many, many colors. And when I worked with that color, when I worked with this size of cord, I was able to get it to work with the seed beads that are called out in the pattern. But I did some substitutions just to, kind of have some fun and see what happened. And I put 6/0 beads instead of 8/0, things like that. So I just wanted to highlight that you can really make this your own and you can do kind of anything you want with the beads and make them fit. Here's a version where I used rolla. So two different sizes of rolla beads. These are the 4.5 rolla and these are the larger rolla, which I think are about 6mm. And that's with 6/0 seed beads. And this is another color of cord that I didn't highlight when I showed you because it was my last roll. But that's a beautiful turquoise. And then a couple other things you can do. You can really change it up. Like you can make it with just, these are all 6/0 seed beads. And then this bead is from our brand new line of wooden beads. Let me show you that really quick. So my strand has been opened, so I got it here in the bowl. But these beautiful little, look at those. They're, I think they're 8mm actually. Yeah, those are, it's not saying on there, but just from my eye, these are an 8mm wooden bead. And let me show you what I used on this one. This one has a 320 seed bead with 6/0, and I did 6/0. So this is what I'm going to demo today because I think this one, it'll probably be the one that clicks the easiest for everybody. So again, you're going to need some kind of large hole bead because you got to get the cord through it 2 times. Let me show you really quick. See, so a bead that's like 320. A 2/0 will probably work. A rolla will work. So again, one of the larger rollas, like these 6mm rolla. Sure, what you see here, something like that. And you don't have to figure it out even right now. You can get to the spot where we add it and then like kind of decide then. But you can even go up to 8mm wooden beads. Things you can get anywhere, anytime. And if you are working with the cord that I'm using today, which is 1mm cotton wax cord, if you're working with that cord along with me, 8/0 is not going to work for you. I tried really hard to get an 8/0 seed bead on there and it's still tight. And so rather than spend all your time trying to get a seed bead to fit, just go ahead and upgrade to a 6/0 seed bead. And the 6/0 seed beads will save you having to sit there and try to get them to go on. And they'll work great. So lots of things we can do, sizing up, sizing down things. Again, here's an 8mm bead with 6 seed beads. Okay, so I'm gonna move those just over here for a sec, and I'm gonna get out one more thing to show you. Actually, no, I'm gonna bring one of those back really quick. If you're looking for a finding, you just need a little 6mm. This is actually really flexible, whatever you want to use. Some kind of little circle or ring or keychain ring or something like that. I used, you're gonna laugh, Home Depot, flat washers. That's what I'm using. And one more note about the cord. So in her pattern, she's gonna ask you to cut several different lengths of cord. And I totaled all of that up, and it totals about 5 yards. So one of these is all the cord you need to do one of these sets. And it worked out so serendipitously, it's like it was planned. But yeah, so you just need 5 yards of cord. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so what I've got here on the mat are 3 cords. So just starting with 3. And each of those cords is 28.5 inches long. So 3 cords. All right, and so I've got those ready to go right here. So you'll just want to pre-cut them. And then we're going to just lark knot them onto the washer. So bring your ends together. So this is just one of the cords for now. If your finding or washer has a front or a back, like I think this side looks like a good front, bring your 2 cords up from behind it through the center. Bring those down. And then the loop on this side, just bring the cords through that loop. And as long as you're pinching this spot right here, they'll stay together and centered. That's what you want to go for, is making sure they stay centered. And your lark's knot should form right near the top of the washer. So just like that. And then, just make sure your ends stayed the same length in case you pulled too tight. And forgive me, I'm going to move my macrame board just to the side. I wanted to show just really quickly that you'll need something to secure your work to, and you'll need some pins. But I realized that it's also creating a little bit of difficulty with seeing my work, so let's move that a little bit. So again, that was a lark's knot, and I just lark's knotted the first strand at its midpoint to the washer. Okay, same thing, we're just going to repeat that again. So we're going to pick up the next cord. Remember, we cut 3 of them. Each of these is 28.5 inches long. I truthfully cut 29 because I just want a little extra length when I'm doing my knotting. And then bringing those up. And then what I do over here is I just kind of stick my hand through the loop and then just grab those ends. See, and then I just pull like that. And so you want each one of these to just kind of snug the washer there. And I'm going to try not to overlap my last one. So push like that. And tighten up the last one. Okay, so far so good. Got those 2 on there. Let's add one more, same way. So there we go. These are the 3 cords that were lark's knotted onto our washer. So that's step 1 right there. And what you need to do next is secure it to something. So I'm discovering here, just filming now, that this is going to be a little hard to see. So I'm trying to figure out if maybe I put a paper under it. So I'm going to stop the video really quick and see if I can find something. All right, and so I have every lark's knotted cord on my washer. And so that is 3 cords that were lark's knotted at their midpoints. And what I did is I just secured it to the top of this macrame board with, I used a scrap piece of cord, and I actually lark's knotted that as well. Just a scrap cord, and I binder clipped it. And again, this is just some cork board. It's one of our macrame boards. And so I'm going to be using that, and I can still stab pins through the paper, so I'm going to go ahead and work with that so you guys can see just a little better what I'm doing. And in the pattern over here, the steps are all labeled really nicely. So we have just completed the steps that are outlined in the first 2 photos. And then additionally, I secured it to my board. So on mine, you'll see a cord at the top. And step 3 is just showing the reverse side. And, I was kind of torn about this part right here because I kind of thought this was the front. I like the look of a lark's knot like with that as the front, but in Marta's pattern, she's calling this the front. So, and that might be because it makes the knots get a little closer to the washer. So, you know, whichever side you like. I actually have done it both ways and it's worked for me. So let me show you really quick what I mean. Here's the one that I did where I actually did that as the front, and that was just a mistake, but it still worked out really pretty. You can do either. You can have that be your front too if you like. I'll do it the way it is here in the pattern for today. But so that'll be your back side, and this is going to be the front side, and that is how I leave it out here. Okay, and so the next step we're going to do is getting going. So if you look at photo 4, so there's a couple of things that I'm going to need to highlight from the pattern that will be super important throughout. She has marked every cord that is going to be called what's called your holding cord. And so the green dot indicates that that's the cord that you're going to knot onto. So it's not the working cord. You think of it as the bar that you're knotting onto, for example. So if it's marked with green, you won't be using it to work the knot. You'll be knotting on top of it. If it's marked in red, the red dot, it's your working cord. And that honestly is the ticket for the whole entire pattern. It's just paying very, very close attention to that, because it does start to bring the cord in to the left and to the right and change directions and center. And when we get to it, I'll show you there's another place where that becomes super, super important when we do the reverse types of knots, but we don't get to that until a few steps down from here. But so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring the edgemost cord on the left-hand side, bring it across, and we're going to work with the working cord, double half hitch knots. And the way you make those knots is you're basically bringing the cord around and over the holding cord. Then you come around, you go under it, and you bring it over itself on the way out. And you do that just twice in a row without, alternating placement, meaning you're still crossing over the holding cord when you first go to make the knot. That's what a double half hitch knot looks like. And so we're going to do that with each of the working cords that she indicates in the pattern. Let's start with the first one. So here is the holding cord. So let's get this in the center. Bring that holding cord all the way over. You just want to get it as tight as you can over here. And then take your working cord, the first working cord, which is going to be the second one in from the edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it over this one and then under it. And then when you pull through, it's going over itself on the way out. And then just pull that tight. And so what it's going to do is it's going to bring that little loop right up next to your washer. Repeat it one more time, exactly as we did it. So bring that cord over, underneath, and then on the way out, it's passing over itself. Try to keep this tight. It'll still work even if it's a little loose, but I'll show you in a minute why it's important to keep it tight at this step. So there's your first two. And sometimes what I do, especially these first few knots, is I'll just come along and use my fingernails to just really tighten everything up, make it look really good. And then press these together like that. Okay, so we finished 5 and 6. And now we've got this knot looking like that. And now we're going to continue. So the holding cord's staying the same. It's still the same holding cord we had in the previous step, but now our new working cord is going to be the first cord that is coming out of our center strand, our center large knot. So that red one there. So that is this one right here. Okay, so pick it up. This is still our holding cord here. Come over it, go under it, and pull through. Bring that nice and tight. Repeat that one more time. So go over and then go under the holding cord. Pull nice and tight. Okay, and so it'll look just like that. held that super easy to see. It made it nice and tight next to the washer. I want to bring a piece of my first work over to show you really quickly what I'm talking about when I say making it tight. So take a look at this one right here. And do you see how I've got space there? It propagates itself. So what I mean by that is if you don't get these first ones super tight to where they touch each other, then when you do the next parts of the knots, see these two here are the knots that we just finished. So we just finished those two, right? And we want to make sure when we start the next side that these next two connect. If they don't, you'll get that little gap. Does it still work? Yeah. Does it look amazing? Yeah. But if you don't want that gap, if you want it to look like, you know, super, super tight next to each other, you need to make sure this next step touches. So let me show you. So we just finished that. Okay. So we're going to repeat, and I'm going to work through it with you step by step, but we're going to repeat everything we did on this side where we used the very edge cord as the holding cord, and then we proceeded to knot the next strand in, then the next strand into it until it goes like that, right? We're doing the same thing on the other side. And then when you do the same thing on the other side, it's going to look like that. And so let's do that together. So how that looks is, first of all, isolate the cords you've already used. Just get them out of your way. And one of the easiest ways to do that is just kind of bring that over like this. And so the cords you should be working with are the right-hand side of the center cord, and then the two in the right-hand side box knotted cords. So you'll have 3 in total, 1, 2, and 3. The one that is on the very edge is going to become the new holding cord, and it's going to head this way, and you're going to want it to be right up next to your washer. The first working cord is going to be this one, and we're going to bring it around over the holding cord, then under it, and then on the way out it's crossing over itself. And just bring that right up next to the washer. Repeat it again, same thing. I'm going to go over this cord, then we're going to go under that cord. And on the way out, we're crossing over ourselves, right? And let's bring that nice and tight down. Okay. And so that is the first one. And then notice how I'm pushing it this way. This is to avoid that gap. The holding cord stays the same. It's the one that's exiting right out of here. Keep it going this direction. We're going to use this one now as the new working cord. Bring it up and bring it over this cord. This is the holding cord. Go under it. And then on the way out, it's going over itself, right? And bring that right up next to the washer. If you want, you can even kind of nudge it just to make sure everything's sitting nice and tight. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. Over, under, and over. Again, that same holding cord. The one we brought in from the right. And pull that nice and tight. Okay, so our 2 holding cords, they're going to cross each other at the center like that, see? This was the holding cord that we brought over from the left. And this was the holding cord that we brought over from the right. And they're literally going to be like crossing each other there. If you pull them down to the center, they'll look like that. And then these 2 cords are just going to be hanging out from where they were knotted. These were the working cords. So we now have that step completed. And we've created what you see here in photo 9. And we're going to do one more step here. And this next step is what's called, it's called a reverse double half hitch knot. In the reverse double half hitch knot, what I had to do, to be totally honest with you, is I bookmarked this page because this is the page where she shows that knot. It's going to be repeated throughout every time we reach a center. So in a lot of this design, you're going to be bringing cords to the center together to meet. And every time she's going to join them, she does this special knot. And it's not any different than the knot we've been doing, except for it goes the opposite direction on the second half of the knot. So I will show you all of that. And then I want to suggest one thing. If you have one of those little sticker bookmark thingies, bookmark this page and just keep in your mind 10 and 11. Those are the steps that whenever she says reverse, double, half hitch knot, you want to come right back to this page and take the cord on the right and do this with it. And then take the cord on the right and do this with it. I'll show you exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so right now we've got this was the holding cord before. It's going to become the working cord. It's the one on the right. So in this case, it's this one right here. Okay, so that's our new working cord, and this becomes our holding cord. And we're going to bring this working cord. Again, it's going to go over, under, and over. So far, looking familiar, like what we've been doing, right? Bring that up to be at the center. And now what you're going to do with the working cord, and I hold on to it so I don't lose track of which one is which. So I never let go of it. We're going to bring it under. So let me show you just in the picture really quick. It's right now it's kind of like it's jetting out this way. We're going to bring it under the holding cord. So this is new. I'm going under the holding cord this time. Then we're going to go over it and then under itself on the way out. That's why it's called a reverse there. So here's the working cord, under, okay? And then it's going to go back over and then under itself. And then just bring that right up like that. And if you feel like you need to straighten it out, you can by just kind of pulling on these knots here on the side to be a little bit closer to it. And then sometimes I also like to just kind of do a little center pull. So I'm just going to push these again, push those again. Okay, so what we've done here is essentially we've done that step. Number 12 is showing it finished. So there we go. That's that step finished. So bookmark this page, guys. We're going to use that reverse half hitch knot a bunch of times. And here it is on my finished one. Okay, so now we're going to need to get 2 new cords. So I'm going to stop the camera and I'm going to cut 2 new cords. Each of these cords needs to be about 43.5 inches long. And so if you're using the same cord that I am, so let me grab it really quick. Again, if you're using this 5-foot spool, you can save yourself some measuring. Take what you have left and cut it in half, and it'll be what you need. You should have, roughly 100 inches left of this, and having a little extra won't hurt. Somewhere between 90 and 100 left after you cut your first 3 strands. So I'm going to do that now, and then let's meet right back here. Okay, so I have these 2 new cords. Set one aside for just the moment. Find the midpoint on one of the cords by bringing the ends together. Just like that. So here's my midpoint, and there's my ends, and here's my midpoint. So we're going to need a pin. So grab a pin and place it right next to the work on this side. And just go ahead and just poke it right through the cord. And don't worry if it moves around on you a little bit, because you can bring the work itself to meet just by bringing it over like that, see? And so this cord, the one we just added, this new one, it's going to become your new holding cord, meaning it's the one we're going to knot onto. And so bring one side of it at the midpoint here where we pinned it, bring it over like that. See, we want to bring this right across these. And then we're leaving the whole other half of that length. It's just hanging out over here. It's going to be used extensively later. So just leave it aside for now. It's just pinned right there. And we're just bringing this right across. Okay, so we've got that step done. And let's see. So I misspoke earlier when I called it holding cord. It is the working cord. So it's marked in red. This is the one we just added. And it's coming straight down across all those beads. And it is the working cord marked in red there. So in this case, your holding cords are actually the ones that are just were the original, coming out of the original knots there. So see how she's marked this in green and she's holding it tight. And we're gonna do double half hitch knots with this cord that we just added. And so based on that, I want to show you really quick, whenever you're doing, and this has really helped me, I finally got it through my brain, your holding cord should always be on top. So in this photo, you see it's coming down across on top. We actually need to bring it underneath. Take a quick look right there. See, it's got to go under. So holding cords generally run on top of your working cord. So let's fix that over here. So right there. What I need to do is bring my first holding cord on top of this. So, and I'm actually just going to bring all three because we're going to do all three. So taking this one, right, and just bring it underneath. Okay. And again, there's my pin holding that cord in place. And I've got these cords running on top of it. Each of these three is going to be a holding cord. Let's isolate just this one for now. So slide these out of the way. It might even help to just kind of move them completely out of the way. Working cord is the one we just added. It's pinned here. Bring this right up to the edge so that it's touching all of our previous work. Take the cord that's underneath the working cord. Again, that's the one that's pinned. Bring it over this one, then under it, and on the way back out, it's going over itself. It's going to be super long. And if it moves on you a little bit at the stage, don't worry, we're going to fix that right here. The cool thing is that you won't even need the pin after this first knot. So there's that one. Repeat the same thing we just did. Bring this long working cord over this one, under it, and pull down. Okay. And so there we go. Now you can bring down your next working cord, which is this one right here. Bring that one down. And it is over. It's going over this cord, which is our working cord. And again, take this one and go over, right? Under. And it's long, so it's going to be doing some coily-coilies on you. Just help it out. That's the first part of our double half-hitch knot. Again, it's going to go over, under, over, and bring it right up there. Okay, you can probably take the pin out now. You don't need that anymore. We added our new cord. It's coming down. We need to do one more. Let me show you where we are in the pattern. So again, here's where we added it. Here's the first part of the double half-hitch knot, showing it finishing the second half of the double half-hitch knot, and then showing it finished with the first holding cord. See how she's got these two marked in green? We already finished this one. We just did that. I'll show you on the next page. We just need to do that one more time with that third holding cord. And then we'll be done with 17. So that's this one right here. This cord needs to be brought up right to here. And then we're going to do a double half-hitch knot on top of it. So it needs to be holding cord should be running over your working cord. So let's bring it over. Just like that. This is the holding cord. It needs to be going over the working cord. Over, under, and over. Same thing, over, under it, and then it's going over itself on the way out. And there we go. All three of those are done. And that completes what you see in photo 17. And we need to do that again with a brand new cord that's going to be added. So you're repeating everything we did. We have that brand new cord. This is the other one we cut. That's roughly 44 inches long. And again, we're going to bring its ends together to find its midpoint. Okay, so those are there. Slide down, find that midpoint. I'm going to get that pin back. and just poke through that center point right there and put it in position right there next to the word. There we go. Hopefully it's sharp enough to get through that. Let's see. There we go. I think getting it through the paper is tricky. It won't be hard for you guys, but I'm working with paper, so. And remember how this new cord we're adding here is the working cord? So based on that, we need to bring it under. And this cord right here is the working cord from that side, right? Push it out of the way now with its other holding cords. Just get that all out of the way. We don't need those. We need to work with this side. And we're going to do these 3 holding cords right here. We're going to bring those over our new working cord that we just added. Okay, so these 2, we're going to do those last. So starting with this one, I'm getting that as tight as I can. I'm going to bring the working cord over. So over this one, under this one, through like that. Okay, just like that. Then take this cord and go over, under, and over again. So what I do when I'm working with my working cord is I just don't let go of it. I just hold on to it so it always identifies itself to me. And so there's that knot. I hope that looks really clear and good. And we can take the pin out now. That's securing the midpoint there. And our next holding cord, it's going to be this one, right? So we want to bring it on top of the working cord. So this is the holding cord. And it helps you get right next to the former knot, so it's really handy. Ignore this one for now, it's our next holding, so just ignore that one. And take your working cord, and again, you're gonna pass it over, and then under, and back on top of itself in this direction. So 1 and 2. And I know I'm taking these knots a little fast. Just remember in the beginning of the video, I was saying that we're going to do another one that just focuses just on that knot real slow. So if this is losing you in any way, please go ahead and refer to that one. I'm going to put a link in the description to it. Again, there's the next holding cord. It needs to be on top of our working cord, right? So this is the next holding cord. It's coming down. Getting it right up next to the former knot. And again, we're going to bring the working cord over it, right? And then the working cord's coming back underneath, right? And then on the way out, it's crossing over itself. And we'll just bring that right up to the work here. Repeat that. Always doing them 2 times. Okay. So now those 2 working cords are going to meet in the middle like this. And what you'll see is both of those sides now done. And if you look really close over here at the pattern, you'll see that we just did this part, we added all those, but we don't have this part done yet. Remember I told you we're going to need to bookmark steps 10 and 11. We need to do another reverse half hitch with the 2 working cords that we just brought down these directions. So let's just go right back to 10 and 11 and copy that. Take that cord on the right and bring it over the one on the left, under it, back over itself. Okay, so we're going to take the cord on the right, which is this one here, and we're going to bring it over the one on the left. So it's going over it, right? Then under it, and then back over itself on the way through. And then really trying to get that nice and tight toward the top there. And then this next step is always just double checking what I'm doing. Also, don't let go of this cord. This is your working cord. Bring it. Now it's going to go under. It's going to go under this one, right? and then it's going to go over it and under itself. And then just bring that right up. Just like that. So now you have your reverse half-hitch knot in the center. And these beautifuls are here. And these are here. So there's an up close of it. And here is a picture of the finished work where we left off at step 18. So we're done with step 18. Step 19 is just kind of a repeat of the same stuff. So we're just going to work with some different chords. So we're going to identify our first holding chord. That one is going to be 1, 2, 3. This is the third chord in from the edge. It's marked in green. So again, it's our holding chord. And we're going to knot onto it with the 4th and 5th chords. So just take a look at your work. Push it all to the side. Ignore this side for now. Count from the very edge. So this is 1, right? 2. Sorry, that was overlapping. 1 and 2 are these, right? So get those that way. Here's number 3, right? So it's 1, 2, here's 3. 3 is going to become, oh, sorry, I'm getting a package. 3 is our new holding chord. So bring it down nice and snug, right up against all that work we just did before. And now each of these two right here are going to become working chords. Start with the one that is the, coming down from the left here. Bring it over this one and then under this one. Again, it's on the way up, crossing over itself. Do that one more time. Okay, so it's nice and snug. Do it again with this chord. This is your new working chord. Over, under, over. Over, under, and over. Okay. And so what we just did, again, was we took this chord, we brought it over the 4th and 5th, and we knotted the 4th and 5th chords to the 3rd chord to make that. In step 21, jumps ahead, and it does the same thing here, but coming from this side. So it takes, basically it takes this chord and skips it, that chord and skips it, and it brings this one down over as the new holding chord, and it knots these two, become the working chord here. And then we get to the center and we have to do another reverse half hitch knot. So let me show you that. Okay, so ignore the first one. Okay, ignore the second one. Take the third one and bring it down over the 4th and 5th chords, which are 4 and 5. And then we're going to go ahead and knot chord 4 over chord 3, just like this, double half hitch knot. Start 1, 2. Okay, again with this one, going over this one. This one's going to go over and under, and then just pull tight, over, under, and pull tight. That brings these two chords to the center. See those? You'll recognize those as ones that are going to need to become a reverse half hitch knot. So reverse half hitch knot, again, referring back to steps 10 and 11 to see that in action, you need to take this right hand chord, bring it over the one on the left, under the one on the left, and then over itself. Bring that right up to the top. And then the working cord goes under, then over, and then under. Just make it nice and tight. Mine's just doing a little flippy thingy. Okay. Go ahead and pull that down. And so it should roughly stay in the center for you. And I think a big portion of the beauty in making pieces like this is the skill of the hand, right? And so because I'm a beginner, my knots are just not as beautiful as the one Marta does. Let me show you. I mean, look how sharp and polished that is. It's like, boom. Mine aren't as good, but they're still pretty. Mine's more organic, I like to say. But some of it is just getting these, you know, a little tighter to be touching. But what I find is that as you get going, it just starts to look so cool anyway that I don't even sweat it. Let me show you a finished one really quick. See, that's the spot we just finished right there. Just that. So we've only done that much of the pattern. It's a big pattern, guys. Okay, so we've got the center two that we just did the reverse half hitch knot with. And then all these beautiful wings are here and over here. So that is, again, we're at photo 21. Here's photo 22. We're going to do, again, we're going to ignore, in this case, the first 3 cords. And we're going to bring the 4th cord over the 5th one and use the 5th cord as the working cord. So here's how that looks. This one right here. We skip 1, 2, and 3, right? And now we need to bring cord number 4 over cord number 5. And then cord number 5 is the working cord. So it's going to come over this one, over cord 4, under cord 4, and back. So just like that, and do it one more time. It really helps if you don't let go of your working cord while you're working. It helps you get the flow for it. So it should look something like that. Okay, and then what she's showing here is, sorry, we did this right here. Forgive me. We were here. We just did this one here. And then she shows in step 23 a repeat of the doing the same thing on the other side to bring these 2 into a center point. So let me show you that. On this side, we're going to skip 1. We're going to skip number 2. And we're going to skip number 3. Then we're going to bring number 4 over number 5, right? And then number 5 becomes your working cord. So it's going to go over number 4 and around. And then just do that one more time. Okay. And so you'll get that. And that is what you see in number 23. Okay, now we get some beads. Fun part. Step 24, we're going to slide on a bead, and this is very, very, very flexible. This can be a rolla. What she's showing here is a 6mm rolla, roughly. I think she says it's a 5mm rolla. I measured the ones I've got, and they're somewhere between 5 and 6mm. That will work great. But like I said before, like you could use other beads. So here's one where I used a size 320 seed bead. And then here's one where I did use that rolla. Here's one where I used, there is one floating around here where I used an 8mm bead. Isn't that cool? So whatever bead you use here will definitely affect the flow of your piece. And so I'm going to just stick kind of as close as I can to what I did on this one, because I thought this one was really good. So I'm going to grab one of the 320 seed beads. And again, I'm going to link places where you can find these beads from John Bead in the description. So there's my 320 seed bead right there. They have really nice, generous hole diameters. That's one of the reasons I like them. And I'm going to slide that onto both of these cords. So we don't have to do any reverse half inch knotting at the center point here, which is nice. So bring that right up. And then what she shows in her pattern is that she brings a pin in between the two cords right under the bead, just to kind of keep everything tight. So that's what I did there. I put a pin. And now we need to surround this with beads on these cords. So we're going to put beads on this cord to cover up and embellish this bead. And what you're going to find is in her pattern, what she did is she was able to get some 8/0 seed beads on her cord, but I think my cord just might be a little thicker than hers. So I went ahead and used a size 6 seed bead, and it worked out fine for me. So my size 6s I used are these really cool travertine, and I only did 3 here, but I think 3 or 4 will work. You could do either. I feel like you could. So kind of see what looks good to your eye. I'm going to try 3 or 4 and see what happens. Let's look. They're right here. So again, these are size 6 seed beads, and they are a travertine black. So they're a check seed bead. Bring that down. Slide that all the way down. Let's get at least 2 more. I'm going to bring that on. Okay, and 1 more. Slide that right on. And so what you can do to test it, what I've been doing, is I just bring it around and just look at the connection there. I actually kind of am feeling like the 3 was a good choice. I do think it looked good on the other one. So let's do the same thing with this cord. Let's get 3. But play with that, guys, because it's still going to work for you, even if you increase or decrease. Like, I really strayed from the bead sizes here, and all of mine still worked. So don't be afraid to try, your own thing. But I'll link everything in the description that I personally used in case there was one that you really liked. Okay. So here we go. 3 and 3. Okay, so the next step we want to do is shown in the photograph on step 25. And what she did is she brought the ones we put the seed beads on, those are your working cord. And the ones that are securing the larger bead with the pin under it, that's your holding cord. So again, you're going to bring these holding cords, these green ones, over the red one, and then use this red one to do half-inch knots, such that it will look like that when we're done. So let's do that. Okay, so again, this is my working cord. These are going to be my holding cords. So I want to bring that holding cord over the working cord. This is the working cord, this one right here. Bringing it over, under, and over. Tighten that all the way down. Get that right under the bead and repeat. Over, under it, over it. Okay. And I'm going to remove the pin now. I don't really need it anymore. See what it did there? It captured that bead right in the middle with my little seed beads around it. You do need to repeat that with this side. So bring this one underneath its holding cord. And its holding cord is going to be the one that's coming out here. Just want to go like that, right? So bring this over it, under it, and over it. And it's going to get a little close and tangly with the other working cord. Just kind of nudge that out of the way. This little part right here is the most important. You want to make sure that stays nice and tight right there. Don't let go of your working cord because you want to remember it is coming over and then going under, over itself, and then just pull really tight right like that. Okay, so we got those 2, and it created a little center point like that. And so that is the step that you see. completed in picture 25. Those working cords become the center there. All right, and then 26 is showing another reverse half hitch knot completed. And she puts the pin back in to help us center. So I'm going to copy what she did. I'm going to put the pin right back there. See if I can get the same little spot in my paper. Okay. So again, a reverse half hitch knot. We're going to use the working cords that came down through the center here. The one on the right is going to go over the one on the left, under it, and then up and through. And then again, it's going to go the reverse now. We're going to go under and then over the one on the left and through. Remove the pin and show you. So now you have that completed, which is that right there in number 26. Okay, 27. We're going to take the cord that was, it was the holding cord last time. It's coming out right here. And we're going to bring it over the one here. So that's this one. It's going to go over this one. This one's going to be the working cord now. So we're going to bring it over, under, and over. Tighten, over, under, and over. There we go. And then we're going to repeat that with this side. Okay. So again, it's going to have the working cord and the holding cords identified. So our holding cord is going to be the one that's on the outside, right? And it's not shown, that's showing the other side. So I'm going to show you this side, holding cord coming down, going over this working cord. Okay. And this is going to go over this one. Okay. Under it. And, oops. Again, that's over it, under, and through. Okay, pull tight. It should just get right up next to the former knot there. And then again, take that same working cord and repeat. So there you go. That one is right there connected. And then she does do one more reverse half hitch knot in the center with these two cords that are now joining each other here. You see those coming down right here? So again, cord on the right goes over the cord on the left. And then it goes under it, under the cord that's on the left, and through. Tighten that all the way to the top. Take that cord that is the working cord. It's going to be the one that's sticking up, coming this way. And this time you want to go under, right? Then back over it and through itself. Okay. And that completes the steps that are shown in picture 28. So there's picture 28 right here. Completed. Okay, so this next step is making the lace. She says, let's start making the lace. This is a nice stopping point to take a little break. You've mastered the half hitch knots. You've got that part built. This next part is easy but time consuming, and it becomes just kind of a dance between using the first two chords and using the second and third chord. So we're going to be now primarily working with the chords over here. So these chords for now, these center four, you can just kind of push them out of the way. And the next steps work primarily with these chords here. And we'll find our way back down to them, but we're going to build out. Let me show you in the finished sample. We're going to start building this part here. And it's going to just dance its way down, and then it joins everybody over here, right at the end. And so it's not hard. It takes a long time. This is probably the most time consuming part of the pattern. So take a little break. We'll meet you right back here and we will do the lace. All right, welcome back. Hope you got a glass of water, maybe took a walk or something. And so back on the board here, what we're doing is we're gonna focus just primarily working with these 3 cords. If your knots at all got loosed from where they were when we started, you know, mainly I'm referring to these ones here. Let's go ahead and tighten this up if you'd like to. Let's give that another little tighten. Okay, just like that. And for now, we're going to be working with the top 2. So we are going to bring this 3rd one in a little bit, but for now, just set it aside. And let's focus on the edgemost and then the one in from that. And we're going to do, now these are just lark's head knots. So they're a little different kind of knot, but they're one that I feel like I know better, so I like more. And these are the ones where you are kind of changing the position. So the working cord is the one that is the furthest out, and it's going to come in, and it's actually going to start by going underneath the 2nd cord, and then it's going to go over it, under itself and out. And you remember when we're doing lark's head knots, if you just went under, the next one's going to go over. That's what she's doing here, and she's making the hats. If you've ever heard me call them hats, that's these cute little top hat things, and each one of the laces has 3 top hats. The top hat has a bead on it. Her beads are 8/0 seed beads. My beads are 6/0 seed beads. So, finish one. See how this becomes the first hat right there? She starts her first cord under, then she does over. And then you add the next hat with the seed bead on it. We'll do this together. And then she finishes it with one more. If the seed bead being on it is throwing you off at all with keeping your count, it was doing that for me a little bit. I struggled. I had to take them apart a few times. You can do this without a seed bead. So this one is the same exact steps. I did everything she's got in the steps, but I didn't put a seed bead over hat number 2 in each of those. They're trios. See how they're each a trio? I did not put a seed bead here. And then on this one I did. And I thought that was really cute. So whichever you like. Again, if the seed bead's throwing you off or it just doesn't have the right look, don't worry about it. You can leave it out. So for this demo here, we'll do a seed bead. So, you know, it's nice to see it. It's nice to see somebody do that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring the edgemost cord, and it's a nice long cord, and we're going to use all of that length too. Bring it underneath this one, which is the 2nd one in. Bring that down until it forms a loop like that, see? Then come over this cord, and then go under itself here, and pull tight. Okay, and then just go ahead and slide that nice and close. Slide it down, and look what it did. It made the first little hat, see, of a lark's knot. This is really nice. And so for this next part, we're going to have to go over. So we're going to go, and again, we are at number 30 here. We're going to go over, under, and then over itself, okay? And we're still working with the same chords as working and holding. So that working chord should still be the one that's coming right out of the hat here. And this time it's going to go in front of the 2nd chord. So just bringing it down to cross over the front of that one, under this one, and then pull tight. Okay, so now you'll have what is essentially the first half of one of those next hats. So it's going to be the middle hat. This is the spot where you want to put on a seed bead. And what you see here is photo 31 in her pattern. And what I'm about to do is photo 32 in her pattern. So I'm bringing cord and seed bead together here. And again, getting the seed bead on the cord, if that is becoming stressful for you, skip it. You can work this without a seed bead. But for me, it was working okay. So I went ahead and brought that seed bead on there. And we're going to go behind now because remember, we just went ahead. So now we're going to bring the cord, this working cord, under this one. So we're going under it, right? And we're going to bring down a loop, bring it back over, and then up through the loop that we just made. And bring that nice and tight. And don't be afraid to make it nice and tight. With the seed bead on, that's trickier. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we made the second hat, but it's got a seed bead on the hat. So there we go. Okay, we're gonna make one more hat. So to start the next one, bring this working cord over, go under, bring it up to meet, then bring it under, right? So we're underneath, right? And go over and up and through. Okay, so there's our first one. See, there's a little 3 hats going there with our seed bead there. Okay, that completes the step that is shown in, we completed 32 and 33 almost. Okay, so we did this much. The part I was covering up with my thumbnail there is just the end step for photo 33. You need to start your next lark's head knot, but don't finish it. So go ahead and bring this working cord, the one that we just finished third hat with, bring it over, and forgive me, but all of these cords are starting to get in the way. So just, again, we're just focusing on the 2 edgemost ones right now. Okay. So bring this one over, under, and up, and through, and tighten. Okay. So now something's going to change. Okay, so far we've only been working with these 2. We're going to bring in the 3rd cord now. So that's this one coming out of there. Bringing that one out now. And we're going to lark's knot to it. Lark's head knot. So this is not the one we've been using as working cord. This is the one that's been our holding cord so far. And it's going to come around and it's going to go under and then over and under itself. And before we do that, we need to slide on another bead right there. So let me show you that really quick. And again, I'll bring the finished sample back over so you can see what we're doing. Here it is. Now what I did for mine is I just did the same 6/0 seed bead. That was easiest for me, but you don't have to. Obviously in Marta's pattern, she's using a different bead than me. And then, you know, here's the one where I just skipped it, but you do need to put a bead here. You can skip it on the lace edges, but you do need to put something here because that space is required. So a 6/0 seed bead does the trick. I did something totally different on this one. I used a 4mm roller there with 6/0 on the edge. So you see how forgiving this is? You can really get away with changing it up, like a lot. Okay, but step 1, get a 6/0 seed bead and put it on this 3rd cord here. So we'll bring this one over here and just slide that on and bring that right up to meet the work there. Take this cord, which is the one that was the holding one up here, right? So not the one we've been doing the hats with. It's just this one here. Bring it underneath the one we just put the bead on. Right under that one. Bring it down. And then bring it up and over itself, up and over the, sorry, holding cord and then under itself. And when you tighten it, what will happen is it'll just kind of, it'll bring this really beautiful lace we just made over and around it like that. See how it kind of made it connect? And so that was the step shown in photo 34. In photo 35, she's showing you how she's finishing that knot with the one we just used as the one that went under, over, under is now going to go over, under, and then over itself. So again, that's bringing that nice and close. And now it's going to go over, and then under, and then over. And I went ahead and took a little care there to really make sure that that was nice and tight. But basically what you're going for is the working cord you just used is the one that's coming out from under the hats that you made with this cord. And it just did basically a lark's head knot to the third cord. And so it just joined it and it locked that seed bead in. And so that's all you got to do there. And once you've done that, you've completed 35. And then in step 36, what she's showing in photo 36 is now she's switching back to using the cord that we were using, the very outside cord. So this is the one that we were making the original hats with a little bead. And again, we're going to switch back to using cord number 2, which is the holding cord, right? And that's the one that was working cord over here, right? It was the one that was coming out of here. And we just did this knot to cord number 3. Cord number 2 is going to become holding again. See? And then the outside cord is going to become our new working. And what she's showing here is that our first step is we're going to go under. And if you remember, when we left off here, we had just gone over. So now we're going to go under cord number 2. So see, these knots are easy. It's just remembering what you did last, right? So we went and did something else, and now we're back. And so now we got to remember that, okay, it's time to go under because we went over before. And what you'll get is another hat. You'll know you got it right because you'll get another hat with that cord. And if for any reason you don't feel like it looks right, you can always take it out and try again. But basically what you're going for is the finished part of that hat. Okay, and so now what we need to do is continue making another set just like this first one. So in her photos, what she's showing, so we just finished this one here, this hat. We just finished that one. And now we just need to make one more. So we're going to go over and then under and then over again. So we're going to do an entire lark's head knot plus the first half of one and then pop on another seed bead. So let's do that together. So this one is going to go over, right, under. Bring that right up there. And now we need to go under, over, under. Okay. And you'll have your second hat. You see it there? Let me bring it closer. So our joining hat was this one, right? And now this is our first hat. And now we're going to start what is essentially the middle lark's head knot. So go ahead and bring the cord over, under, tighten. Okay, and now get another seed bead. Put a seed bead on. We are currently working on we're at step 37, crossing into step 38 in her photos. So getting a seed bead on. Sorry, I had a little trouble getting that seed bead on there. A little thicker on this one. Bring it right down. And then just remember, we're going to have to go under, right? And then over and under. Okay. That finishes that one. Make one more. Go over, okay, under, and over. Now go under, over, and under. Sorry, let me bring this into the center a little better. Okay. And so we're basically straddling 37 and 38. We just added the seed bead and finished that. And we just finished the next hat after our seed bead. And remember, we need to make the first half of what's going to become the next lark's head knot now. So we're going to go over, under, over with the cord one more time. Okay, so this is the super long one. And this is the one that does the holding cord. We're going to go over it, under it, through the loop we made, which is going over itself, right? And just pull tight. Okay. Okay, so that concludes what is shown in 38 with one exception. We need to add the next 6/0 seed bead. And so just take a quick look. You remember when we added the first one and it was here, and then we knotted what is this cord. We knotted it right here. And so it's just hanging out right now, coming out of that knot. We need to go find that cord and be super careful when you're looking for it. Let me show you something really quick on mine. So you see how all this is it's just going a little jumbly. You want to make sure, because the temptation you're going to experience at this point is to put the seed, because this one, when I was working earlier, it just kind of tucked itself under, and I was really tempted to come along and grab. Make sure you're grabbing the cord that had the 6/0 seed bead on it from last time, right? So here's our 6/0 seed bead, and here's the cord that it's on, and it just it looks a little weird because you see how it gets knotted right there. Bring it closer. But it's the one that the bead is on. It's just that it's knotted in there. And then, of course, these two cords are the ones we've been working with making our hats here. And this is the one that the hats are being made on. So what we're going to do is get all these other cords out of the way and just identify this cord right here. Yeah, so just be careful you got the right one. And then grab the 6/0 seed bead, put it on that cord, slide it down right up to meet. Right there, see? And then it becomes your new holding cord. And our new working cord is going to be this one here. For now, just ignore this other one. So in the next step, it's shown, it kind of jumps just ahead a little bit. So far we've got what's shown exactly in 38. To get to where her work is showing 39, we have to take the working cord and we have to do the lark's head knot onto the one we just added the 6/0 seed bead to. So let's do 39 together. Here's the cord we added the 6/0 seed bead to. Here's the 6/0 seed bead. Pushing it right up there. This is going to become the new working cord. To start, bring it under. Okay, so it's going to go under the one we put the 6/0 seed bead on. Then back over it, right? And then under itself. And get it as tight as you can. It's not going to be perfect. Notice hers had some space too. Bring this one now over, under, and it goes over itself as it's passing through. And at this point, when you tighten it, the second part, it will snuggle that bead. Just kind of nice. Okay. And if for whatever reason, let me show you this gap that I've got right here. I don't want to have that gap. One gap is okay and one isn't. So the gap that's okay is this gap. Because this one, we can slide this cord in here. But I have a gap between this, and it's not going to serve me later. I won't be able to fix it. So let's fix it now. This will probably happen to you the first couple of times you do it, and it still happens to me, like almost every time. So take your pin, and let's just work that lark's knot right back out. I was going to edit this out, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to show everybody. Okay, so here's where, see this spot right here? This is a spot where I need to make sure the important measurement is not this one. Don't worry about that spacing. We'll fix that later. Worry about the space between the bottom of this and this cord. So get that spacing correct. Get it nice and tight. See, just like that. You see that there? Make that touch. Don't worry about that gap. We're just gonna scrunch it. So now take this one, and this one's gonna go over, under, and over. We're just finishing the other knot. Okay. And you see how it automatically just consumes that space in front of the 6/0 seed bead, but it never can correct itself if this scapping was bad. So that's the one you want to watch. I feel like this one's going to work for me. It's okay. So roughly that's what I've got. And we can always just push it like that to make it make contact with that seed bead there. It's a little tricky, I'm not going to lie. This one little spot right here. So just, you know, do your best. Okay. Now we're going to, again, this was the cord the 6/0 seed bead got put on, but we can isolate it out now just for a moment and switch it back to working with these again. Okay. And so now the one we were just using as working cord is going to become holding cord again. And the edgest most one, if that's a word, that's going to become our working cord now. And remember, we left off at the end of step 38, having gone over, under, over. We're going to go, sorry, yeah, so now we need to go under, over, under. And that is what is shown here. So we finished with 39 and 40, she's showing these are now the chords we're working with. And so here in 41, she just finishes the knot right away there. So let's finish that knot together. So take this one, and with this one, we're gonna go under, over, under. Okay, and then we're gonna go over, under, over. So you should get a little hat. So now we're going to go again over, under, and over. Take a quick look at it. And actually, I think mine's spun, so there's that. This one's going to go under, over, through itself. There we go. You'll know if you got it wrong because your hat won't form right. So we went under, over, under, over, under, under. Now it's under, over, under. So now we're going to go over. You just have to reverse it. And the hardest part for me is remembering what I did last, especially if I'm getting distracted or filming. Okay. And this is where you want to add a seed bead before you finish the second hat. So let's go one more. Put that on here. Okay. Bring that down. And now this one is going to go under. And I'm going to do this whole thing here for you guys. If you feel like you got this and you don't need to watch this whole thing, you can skip ahead. I'll put timestamps. But just in case you want to see it. So now we're going to go over, under, over. And then the second part of that knot goes under, over, up and through. Okay. And then we're going to start the next lark side knot, but not finish it. So over, under, over. Okay. So there's that. And that kind of brings us to this is where it jumps around just a little bit. But she's showing in step 41 all the steps completed, but so far what we've done is we've just finished this third one here, and we've done the first half of it. Now we need to do the next join to the 6-0 bar, and 41 is showing that already complete. So we just need to catch up with 41 here, and so to do that we need one more size 6 seed bead. And let's just go ahead and identify the cords. So this is the one we've been making the outside lace with, and this is the one that we've been putting the lace on. So it's this one right here. And then the one the 6-0 seed beads is on, you're going to be so tempted to use this one. Don't use that one. Make sure you're pulling this one right here and working with it. And it's the one that's got a 6-0 seed bead right here, see? And it's coming right out of there. And so we're going to put the 6-0 seed bead on this one. And bring it right to meet right there, okay? And from here, all you got to do is take this cord right here, which is basically it's the second one, it's the middle one, bring it underneath the one we just put the 6-0 seed bead on, bring it under it. Then bring it over and under itself, okay? And again, we're concerned about the distance between that part and the cord, not about the spacing around the seed bead, because that just kind of fixes itself later. This one's harder. So we just did under, over, under. So now we're going to go over, under, and then over itself on the way out. Okay. See how it just kind of goes and it snugs right up. It's going to loosen on you a little bit. That first little step, you're going to be like, it does that a little bit. I don't know. It's just hard to get it perfect, but it's okay. Okay, and then just remember the one that we just did the work with, the knotting, that comes back up and becomes holding cord again. And so now we need to make the last part. Let me grab the sample again. I just want to explain a little better where we're at. So we have finished those three. See them? Those three. We still have one more to go. And this next one's completed the same way, but it's joined differently. So, and you see how you got 1, 2, 3 seed beads going. So essentially we're here. In the pattern, we joined this right here at the end of 41, right? And now we're going to go ahead and just put on another size 6 seed bead. It's going to go on the same one we've been adding 6-0 seed beads to, but this time we're going to do a double half hitch knot onto the holding cord here. And so that holding cord, it can be a little tricky to identify, but just, do you remember the 4 cords we isolated in the pattern? Let me put this in the right orientation here. So these are the ones we've been working with all this time, right? And there are these cords that we had that were just right down the center here, these ones. This is where we're going to start coming back together. And so ignore these 2 cords for now. These are the ones we've been making these little edgies with, right? This is the cord that we've been putting size 6 seed beads on the inside row, right here. We are going to put one more of those on, right? Go ahead and put that bead on. Sorry, I'm going to chase it around. Try to get that to go. Here we go. Okay, so go ahead and slide that on. Tighten everything up. And this is a little different. So, so far we've been putting the 6-0 seed bead on here, and then this has been just like a holding cord, right? We've been taking this one and knotting to it. We're going to do something just a little smidge different, so stick with me. So we are at number 42 in the picture, the step-by-step. So take this one right here and bring it under this cord that's coming over here. So this one's going to be your new holding cord. So bring it over this one, which is the one we just put a 6-0 seed bead on, And then try to get that to be like right up there. See, like that? We're gonna snuggle it right up here and do a double half hitch knot. We're back to double half hitch knot for this step here with the cord that we put that 6/0 seed bead on. And we're just gonna bring it right up. And so what you want to do is just make sure that it goes really close to this spot right here. So you want to make sure that's a nice tight fit. And once you've got that nice and close, finish the double half hitch knot, the second half of it there. And it'll look just like that. And so far it's left these guys hanging over here. These are the ones we were doing the lace with. And this was the one that was having the lace put on it, right? And we just joined to our edge most of the center cords with the one that we've been putting the 6/0 seed beads on. So now we have 4 6/0 seed beads. Let me show you the picture again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one was just double half hitch knotted onto the left side of the 4 center cords there. And so we still have these guys hanging out over here. She's got them marked because we're going to create the 4th little lace spot right here. So this one is going to become the holding cord, and this will become the working cord. And we will make, here's 43, we'll make another finished lace edge there. So let's do that together. Okay, so right here, we're going to take ignore these cords again. Okay. We just want to work with these 2 here at the edge. This is the one coming out from the last hat we made. Bring it under. Okay, so I just brought it underneath, and now it's going to go over and back up through. Okay. Okay. And now we're going to bring it over, under, and back up through. And now it's going to go under, over, and back up through. Okay. So see, it's just making another little lace point. Just like that. You should have your first hat go over, under, and back up through. Another bead is needed. We're going to put a bead on top of, what's going to become the middle hat. So slide that on, and then this one's going to go behind that holding cord, and then around the front of it and through. Okay. Again, in front of it, under it, like that. And stop at this spot. Normally we would make a 3rd hat, but I was just taking a very close look at the pattern. And what I see here in number 44 is stopping after having made the first half of a lark's head knot after the one where we added the seed bead. So that's in 44. And then here in step 45, something different is happening. Okay, so in step 45, you're going to take and join the other side. Now, we don't have the other side done, so there's a big jump that's happening here. And so from here, you just kind of left this last one, this 4th one. You're just leaving it unworked. It's unfinished. It's just hanging out. And then here, we're going to do something to bring it all together, but we need to finish this side. So we have to do everything we just did on this side for this side. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark in the video for you guys where this starts. If you're somebody who just did the side and you're like, I got this, I can do it on my own, I'm going to give you a timestamp so you can skip ahead. If you're somebody who, like me, feels like you need to see it in reverse on this side, because for some reason my brain can't do the flippy thing, I don't know. All right, so this is the part of the video where we are going to repeat steps 29 through 44. And we're going to repeat that using this side of the work. So it's everything we did over here, just in reverse on this side. And it was quite a lot of steps to go back through, so let's just take it one by one. So I pushed every single cord out of the way except the top two. And we're just going to start by making a lark's head knot. And so she starts her lark's head knot in step 29 by bringing this outside cord here under this one. Bring that down so you get a loop right here, and then pass it over and then under the loop. Tighten that up, and you'll get this little, I'll try to point it out, a cute little hat there will form. Step 30, you're going to take that same working cord and this time bring it over the holding cord, which is our second cord, and then come up under it, up through, and pull tight. Okay, so that's step 30. And then step 31 is just a representation of what it should look like tightened up. So here she's showing the sequence, and here she's saying your knot should look like the one in picture 31. And so again, here we have right there. Looks just like it. And next step we need to do is put on a bead. Okay, and so the bead goes on the working cord, so the edgemast cord. Let's get that bead on here. And we're just going to slide that right down, and it's going to sit right on top right there. Okay, from here, what you want to do is bring the cord under the holding cord. And remember, our holding cord is the one we've been working on. It's the second cord in. So we're going to go under it. Okay, pull that down. Sorry, I got caught under my board there. So under. And then over this one right here, okay? And then under itself. Okay. There we go. So you should have your first seed bead on there. It looks like a little hat. That completes 32. Picture 33 is creating another hat plus half of a hat. So let's do that again. So let's bring the working cord here over this one, okay? Then it's going to go under and through the loop here. Okay, so just like that. And then we will go under, up and over. Okay. Do you have another little hat on there? Just like that. Last but not least, we're going to start the first part of what would be a fourth lark's head knot by going over, under, and up through the loop. Okay. All right, so that's ready to go. The first lace. This is the next step where we're going to put on a seed bead, a 6/0 seed bead onto the holding cord below it. So let's grab another 6/0 seed bead. And here is our original working cord. Here's our original holding cord. There's another strand right here coming out of the third spot there. And we're going to put the seed bead on that one. Get the bead on there, slide that down. Okay, so from here, we're going to join this cord to this cord. This will be your holding cord, and this will be your working. So she starts going under first by default for all of these. And I think it's because of the way it joins. So under, over this one, and under. Okay, and then remember, the part we care about is how close this is to the cord and not the seed bead. Right? And so then we're going to go over, under, and over. And that completes a lark's head knot with those cords there. And really, I just really want this part to be nice and tight right there. Okay. Next thing we want to do is start creating. So this is the one we just joined to. We're just going to set it aside just for a minute. And we're going to create our second lace. So take this top cord here, and bring it under. And that's because remember we left a half one where we did a half worked one there. So we go under to finish it. And what it does is it finishes itself on the cord we joined to before. It gives you that little hat. All right, so just carrying on with making this part of the lace. We just ended here, that first join back to this cord with an under, over, under. So now we got to remember to go over, under, up and through. I think it's just the trickiest part is just remembering which one, in which order. And now this one's going to go under. Okay. And then over, and then up, and through. Okay, make sure you have your joining hat. See the joining hat right there? That's the one that is showing right here. And then one new hat. Okay. And then let's start another one. So go over, under, and then there's that first half of the lark's knot. This is where we need to add our seed bead. So grab that. And slide that down. Okay, and now under, right? I'm gonna go underneath. And this, all these cords, just push those out of the way. Make sure they don't confuse you. We're just finishing the under, over, under part of the hat that has the seed bead on it. Right there. Okay, let's make one more of the lark's head knots. So over. And then we want to go under it and through the loop. And then this one is going to go under, over, and then under itself. Okay. Take a look at it and make sure you have hat number 3. And I've made a couple mistakes, guys, when I've been working on this, where if it doesn't look right to you, go ahead and just take your pin and pick it and, undo it. Make sure you have hat, seed bead hat, a joining hat, hat, seed bead hat. And then you've got it. And then she starts a new one, right? Before she moves on to the next step, she'll start the first half of what would be a 4th lark's head knot going there. All right, so she goes over, under, and then over. Tightens that down. Okay. And now we're gonna bring back the cord that we've been putting the inner row of 6 on. So that's this one here. Let's get that 6 seed bead right on there. Oh, nice. That's a nice one I just trimmed, so it's really easy to get that on there. Okay. So there's that seed bead. And we're going to use this cord to join to this cord. Okay, and so switching here, we got the 6 seed bead onto there. Holding cord, working cord, under, over it, and under it. Tighten that down. And then you want to go over, under, over, and tighten that down. And as long as this part gets close to that part, you're good. Don't worry too much about, again, this part with the seed bead. It scrunches up right when you do the knot, so it kind of works out, right? And so just keep track of the one your seed bead is on, which is this one here. You can tighten it if you need to by just pushing like that, see? And now we're going to switch back to using this as the working cord. This is the holding cord. Start by taking this one and bringing it under that one, around, up, and through. Okay. And then this one needs to go over, under, and over, and then under, over, and up. Okay. So what you should have now is your joining hat, your first new hat, and let's start the second one by going over, okay, and then it goes under, over itself, first half, seed bead time. Slide that down, and then go, we're working just with these two cords here. Under, right? Bring that one, this one under, the one the seed bead is on, and then over and up through the loop. Finishing the second half of that lark's head knot, but with a seed bead on a hat, just like that. Okay, we need to make one more lark's head knot, so let's go over, and then bring it under and up through the loop, and then go under, over, under to finish that third hat. Okay, so you should have 1, 2, and 3. Start one more, over, under, and up through the loop. Okay, set it aside, both of them, and go back and find that cord that the 6 O's are coming off on. So 6 0, 6 0, and then we're going to put one more on. Okay, you got that one there. And remember, we're going to try to join that. We're going to join this cord to this cord now by bringing this cord under, and then over this one, under itself. Pull tight, and remember the important thing is how close the knot is to the end of the lace, and not this gap here between the seed bead and the end of the lace, because that scrunches up really nicely on its own. So we did under, over, under, so now we need to do over, under, and up to the loop. Okay, and let's see what it does. It just automatically tightens that for you, which is really nice. So there you go. You should have these 2 bars linking your seed bead there. This was that working thread that did it. Now this becomes the holding cord again. And we're going to go right back up and use this to make the 4th lace. Okay? And again, in the pattern, I'm going to just switch back really quick to make sure I show you right where we are, because I haven't done that in a minute. In step 42, before she starts making the 4th one, she does link another 6 0 and joins it to the center strand, and in our case it'll be this one I'm joining to, right? So let's look back where we are. So we just completed the 6 0 add here, and we joined it to this cord. And before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and put another 6 0 seed bead on this one here, so that just so we match what she's got showing in 42. Okay, so I'll bring this on and slide that up. Okay, and then remember, it becomes kind of weird. Just stick with me here. So we put the 6 0 seed bead on this cord right here, and we're going to join it now with this cord, the one that's sticking out this part. And so the cord you're going to join to and the cord you're going to work with, it's important to note here that that is going to be the holding cord is this one, right? This one right here. And the working cord is the one we just put the 6 0 seed bead on. That's become the working cord now. And we're doing a double half hitch knot now, not a lark's head knot. So get these other cords out of the way just so it's nice and easy to see. Once again, this is the cord we put that 6 0 on. This is the cord we haven't been working with, but it's coming out of this side. Go ahead and bring it so that it lays right on top of the one that your 6 0 seed bead was put on. And then using the one that the 6/0 seed bead is on, remember it's coming from underneath it, double half hitch knot. So bring that one over. Okay, it's going over. It's going under it and through. And bring that so that it touches right up. You want it to make contact with right here. Okay. Over. This is a double half hitch knot. So we're going over it and under it. And that should complete that knot right there. And so what you've got are these two joined, and we still have this center two hanging out here, but now you've got this side where the 6/0 is coming from here, and it's joined here. So you've got these two coming together now. We still need to finish this. We just did that, but we did it on this side. I want to start by doing this part here, bringing it to that, and that will bring us to 45. If you made it this far, you need a round of applause for yourself. I'm not going to clap too loud because of the camera, but you did it. This part, honestly, everything after this is way easier, and just getting these two to come together. It's just a lot of stuff, like remembering where you were. Okay, so from here, what you want to do is again isolate out all of these cords, and let's switch back to working just with our lace edges, right? So we're just gonna come right back to here. And so this is the one that had just finished up that part. We're gonna bring that one under. Okay, just go under that one. And we switched back to doing lark's head knots. So under, over, under. Join. So there's your joining hat. Now you want to go over with that cord, under and through the loop. First half, then go under, over and under. Okay. Okay. And so here's where it's at. Right there. We're going to add the seed bead. So first thing you want to do is begin the knot. So go over, under, and up to the loop. First half. Then you want to put the seed bead on. One sec. We might need to do a little trim. Oh no, I made it. It's starting to fray just a little bit. Okay, bring that down. And remember now we need to go under. Okay. And then over the cord and under the loop. There you go. Okay, and she starts the next one by going over, under, and up. Okay, so you should have one hat, two hats, and the beginnings of a third hat. And the same thing should be happening here on the other side where we left off, where we had the first and second hat with the seed bead on it, and then the first half of the third hat. And that is where everything is left in the magical step 45. Alright, so we're just going to start by doing a double half hitch knot with this cord and a double half hitch knot with this cord onto these main cords right here. So this cord is one of the center cords. And I just want to show you really quick so you identify what each one is. That's kind of the key here, is knowing which cord is which. So there's the two center cords, right? And then this is the one that it has 6/0 seed beads on it. Brought it down from here, and it had been double half hitch knotted onto the first of the center cords there, right? So now this is the next one. So we bring that one over, the working cord. It's going under the holding cord. Go around and over, under, and through. Over, under, and through. Okay. So what we just did there, sorry about that, is we completed this knot to that one. Let's do the same on the other side. We're going to bring this one down and knot it to that one. Okay. Okay, so that is, this is the cord we want to do the work with. And this is the cord that we want to put it onto. So bring the cord you are going to put the knot on over the one you're going to do the knot with. So like that, loop around. And again, these are all going to be double half hitch knots. So you just go over, then under it, back through. Okay. So there they are. And so she goes from that to this. We have to do this center thing now. We have to bring those two cords and do that steps 10 and 11 reverse half hitch knot again. So that's going to be done with these two cords. The ones that we were using as the working cords just a moment ago. And just to refresh my memory, reverse half hitch knots are shown here. So on the right side, we're going to go over, under, and then over itself and through, right? So that's the cord on the right-hand side. It's going to go over it, under, and through. And then remember the other half of a reverse half hitch knot takes that same working cord and then it goes under, over, and through. So this was the working cord up here. Now we're going to go under, over, and through. And there you go. So once that's done, you are all done with 46 there. Bring that back. 46. Okay, so for 47, we're going to start by bringing the cord that had the, so here's the 6/0 seed bead, and then remember we brought that working cord down to a knot, here's the center reverse half hitch knot we just did. We're going to grab that cord. That's the one that's coming out from the one that the 6/0 connects to. So in a sense, it's actually just 1, 2, 3 cords in from the edge. So you can either find it that way or just by looking at, this is the one that's coming out of the first double half hitch knot that we did, or you can count and see that it's 1, 2, 3 cords in. And this cord is going to become holding cord, green marked holding cord. So bring that over these cords. And for now, just shove this side to the side. We'll have to repeat all that on this side, but bring this down like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 sets of double half hitch knots. First with this cord, and then with this cord. And we're going to do that onto this cord. So bring this one up. And so see how it's going over it. So again, this is the holding cord. And you're bringing it over the cords we're going to work onto. The first cord we're working with is this one. And so we're going to cross it over the holding, under, and pull. And you'll get that. Okay, and then just repeat that one more time. You'll get that. It's a double half hitch knot that's going to start to, it looks like it's just kind of turning the corner, right? Do that again with this cord. This is the working cord. This is still the holding cord, so again, it's passing over, right? And then we take this cord, and we're passing it over, under, and up. And again, it's going over, under, and up. There we go. So that's all done on this side. And so that's in picture 48 is showing what's done there. We just need to repeat that here. Bring this cord down, and these are the two working cords. And so it can really help to isolate the arm ones, which are these two here, right? And then you can see these cords here. And then also try to keep track of which one was the cord that we were just doing a bunch of work with, which was this one, right? That's part of this side. So we're just working with these three cords right here. The first one becomes the holding cord. So we're just going to bring it down and over. Okay. This is going to be the first set of working cord. So bring it over the holding cord, under the holding cord, down over itself, and pull that tight. Repeat that one more time. Okay. And so you should get a knot that looks like that. And then do the same thing again, switching this to the working cord. This is that the next one in, right? So over, under, over. There we go. There we go. So you just want to go over, over, under, over. So that is the way to go. And so you should have a knot that looks like that. And so that finishes what she's showing here on 48. And then on 49, this is what it shows like when she does the reverse half hitch knot. I think that's actually, those instructions are still back over here at the center. A reverse double half hitch knot at the center. So 48 is showing it not done yet. 49 is showing it finished. So we still need to do a reverse half hitch knot in the center. And that's going to be done with these cords, these two center ones. So this one's going to go over, under, and through. Okay. And then remember you bring it under, over, through. And this has been happening a little bit, but sometimes my second loop will go over my first one. So just watch and make sure that doesn't happen to you. That happened to me on my last knot. There we go. Okay. So now we have that finished. And so your work should look like that. And that one is the end of 49. Okay, so let's start with number 50 next. Now it's starting to get a little exciting because everything's just going to come together. So you have all of the cords that make up these little arms left to deal with, right? There's these little one here, and there's the one here. So just separate those out. There's the two center cords, and then you've got these two side cords. And if you look at step 50, which is here, we're going to start using the arm cords to draw them in and connect to those three main center cords. So the two center, right? And then these two next to it. So in this case, there's 3 and 3. So just separate those 3 and 3. And start with this one. And that's going to come, it's marked in red as the working cord. So working cord goes under the holding cord. Let me show you in the picture one more time. So we're bringing down the one that's coming out of the arm. We're bringing it over, these are going to be the holding cords. Okay. So you want to bring the holding cords on top. So for now, let's just isolate the first one. So that means we need to just kind of push those two out of the side. And we want to bring this holding cord over this one and work double half hitch knots with the working cord. So to do that, you want to go over it, under and over. See how this little loop is coming up? This part, you're going to want to try best you can to connect the arm to this part right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull tightly. And I might even help it by just kind of like adjusting that position there. Okay, and let's finish that up by tightening this. There we go. Once you have that one done, the rest of them are a lot easier. See, because it's connected them there. And that should stay nice and tight. Okay, so let's do the next one down, which is this one. Remember, you want to bring it to be above the working cord. Our working cord's the one that's coming down from here. So just like that. And again, you're going to bring this one over and under, through the loop, over, under, through the loop. So there we go. Okay, we have one cord left. And it's going to be one of the two center cords. The best way to figure out which one that is, just take a look at those center cords and use the one that's closest to the left. And we're going to bring it over our working cord. And we're going to do our working knots. There's the first part. And I'm just going to tighten that right up next to it. There's the second part of that knot. There you go. Let's repeat everything we just did on the other side. One, two, here's number 3. Just want to get this out of the way here. So we see these are the holding cords, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to use this as our working cord. So bring it under the first holding cord. Okay, and remember this first one, we got to help it just a little bit to be tight. So it's going to go over the working cord, over the holding cord, and then under it. And pull right up to the edge. There we go. Okay, repeat that one more time just to tighten everything in place. I'm just going to help that one, the first knot, just be a little tighter because it loosened as I worked the next part of it. There we go. Okay. You just want to make sure that this is touching the edge here. Okay. So now the working cord continues down, and I've got the next holding cord to bring over it. And this part is really key, guys. You got to bring the holding cord over that working cord there. We're going to go around like that. One more. All right. And this is the last one is this one. This is the one coming down from the other side. We don't want to use that one. We're going to bring this working cord over, this holding cord over our working cord. I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And again, we're going to do the over, under. It's the same knot, just going the other way, different direction. And over in this direction. Just like that. I'm tightening the other one that was before on this side. All right. So we brought those working cords down, and now those working cords are the centers now. Okay, and so that is what's being shown here in picture 30. We just did that, and she actually steps it out for each one. But you can kind of do these in either order. I did them where I took this cord and I went 1, 2, 3. If you look at 51, she starts bringing down the edgemost cord and does the same thing. You see it here? So, but what I did is I just kept going. And you can do those in either order. So I'm going to just come back and do 1, 2, 3 with this cord. We're still working over here. We're going to get the cord that is coming out of, this is the one we're doing all of our hats with, remember, with the seed beads. And we're going to use that as the new working cord. And these are the 3 holding cords that we're going to join to. Same ones we were using when we brought this other one down. So first holding cord, I'm going to bring it here, working cord here. So you see they're snugging right next to each other. You go over, under, and bring that down. So there's our second one. Bring this one over. Okay, work 2 half-hitch knots, or double half-hitch knot, sorry. There we go. And last but not least, this one. This is the holding cord, so I just ran it right underneath what will be our, working cord under holding cord. I keep getting that mixed up, sorry guys. Okay. Just keep going. There we go. All right, so that's what you see here in picture 53. We basically brought down the cord that's running inside here and did double half hitch, double half hitch, double half hitch. And then we took the cord that's running here and did the same thing. Okay. And what you see in 54 is we need to repeat that on this side. And don't worry about this part yet. Okay, so let's look over here. We want to isolate each of the cords that we're going to use for knotting. So there's this one. All right, so we want to take this one. This was the one we used to make the hats with on that side. And bring it underneath the next holding cord. Bring that over. Do the double half hitch knots. I do like to help them sit a little close to the one before it on that first knot. The second one, for some reason, for me, just always goes right where you want it, but that first one, the placement, I always try to get it as tight as I can. Okay, here's the second one. And again, I'm just bringing the holding cord over my working cord. And I'm going to go around, all the way through. One more time, over, under, and down. Last one. And again, I'm just bringing this holding cord over this working cord. Okay. All right, so you're gonna have, once you're at step 54, the photo 54, you'll have these holding cords here, these holding cords here, just push those a little to the side. And then you're gonna have these 4 cords in the middle, and they're gonna all be marked as red dots on that photo. So they're all working cords. And you wanna just isolate for now the center 2. So just pick the center 2 out and take the cord that is on the right side, this one, and make that the current working cord. We're going to do a reverse double half hitch knot. So bring this one over the one on the left, under it, pull tight, then bring it under, over, and through. And so you'll get the reverse half hitch knot there in the center, and it should put the that little telltale, kind of like downward pointing strand there. That gives you the little assurance that you've done a reverse double half hitch. So right there. Okay, and then it says do 2 double half hitch knots from both sides. So we've got these 2 center cords here, and we've got these 2 cords still to deal with. So we're going to turn these ones now into holding cords and make this one a working cord. Okay, so bring it over and then under and tighten. And there you go. Just kind of help it be a little tighter there. Same thing, finishing that double half hitch knot. Okay, so there's that one. And again, this is going to be the holding cord, and this will be our working cord. So we'll go over it, under, and through, over, under, and through. So now that gives us these 2 as center cords. And if you want to help with the, this one got a little, I would like that to be a little tighter. I feel like it just needs to be just a little bit tighter. So I'm going to try to help it. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. All right, sometimes you just got to nudge at those knots. Okay, so here's our 2 center now. Brought those right to the center. And we're ready to do the next step, which is making another reverse double half hitch knot at the center with these 2 cords. So take the one on the right, bring it over this one, under, and tighten, and then it goes under, over, and through. So there we go. All right, so that ends number 56. I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. And the next step, so very close to being done. Next one is 57. And this one is just a series of knots. And we're going to just start with this edge and bring it down. And each of these is going to be a working cord. So you're going to do double half hitch knots with each of these 4 cords onto the edge cord, which is going to be brought right down the center. So let's just isolate out this one for now. Bring this one right down and across. Okay, so that's the new holding cord. It's this one right here. Each of these is a working cord now. So starting with the one on the edge, we're going to go over, under, and through. And this one I'm going to just help it get really, really close there. And repeat that over, under, and through, and tighten. Looks great. Okay, same with this next one. It's going to go over, under, and through. There it is. Okay, and then again over, under, through, and here's our last one. This one right here. It's going to go over, under, and through, and over, under, right up against that edge there. So it just made a little turn. Super cute. We have one more to do. This one right here. Over, under, through itself. Help that first one sit as close as you can, because once you tighten the second one, it's a lot harder to move it. There we go. All right. So there's one side. And we're just going to let this one go over here, just so we remember that was our holding cord from before. Okay, holding cord from this side is this one. So we're going to bring it down and across these 4. And again, we're going to need to use each of these in turn as working cords. So I'm going to do one thing really quick for myself, though, and just I'm going to bring this up and over here. And I'm just going to lock it underneath my binder clip. All I did was I just tucked it up there, because it gets super confusing because it starts overlapping with your work here. So again, here's all those cords. And we're going to just bring this one over like that. Okay. This is going to go over and under and through. Over, under, and through. Switch to this one. The second part of that little half-inch knot. Okay. Move into the next cord. We're going to go over, under, and through. Help that one sit right next to it. There we go. And the second part of that knot. There we go. Last but not least. And I just want that one to sit really close to the edge there. There we go. Okay, so let's bring that other cord back down. It is my left-hand side, this is my right. So now your work will meet right there. Pretty cool. Okay. On this side, you've got what were the 4 holding cords, and on this side, you've got these 4. And they should kind of all just, I'm gonna make sure I got that one in the right direction. There we go. All right, so once you've got that done, and you've got this center here, you have basically finished everything all the way up through 58. And just to finish it here, I need to do one more reverse half-hitch knot for that spot right there. So here we go. We're going to bring the right side cord over the one on the left, under the one on the left, and through. Then it goes under the one on the left, over, and through. I seem to have worked some memory into my cord. There we go. Almost got it. Okay. All right. So there, that joins it all together. And so that should be what you see here. So from here, there's a decision. Would you like to finish it as a tasseled pendant, or do you want to put a tassel on it? So let me show you two versions really quick. Here's one where it's brought down into a tassel. And actually that's how I did most of the ones that I worked so far, but here's the other one. This one, I'm going to show finishing in the first way. And this is one that I already did the step that she mentions about glue. So where this one is left off is right where we just finished, at this step right here. And then she says to put on fabric glue and let it dry before you do this trimming. And so I did that. I just came along the back, and I'm going to show you up close. You can see that I used some clear glue. It's not, it didn't disappear as much as I hoped, but it will once I trim it. So now that it's got that glue on there, I feel like it's okay to trim. And I'm going to go ahead and just come along like this and just start cutting it. Actually, I think I'll start with this side. This side's a little easier to do. Use some really good scissors. Make sure they're scissors that cut really nicely. I'm using sewing scissors. Okay. And I would even recommend, for little edges where I just didn't feel confident getting super close, you could even just come along with some flush cutters. And in the pattern, Marta mentioned also that she had used a little bit of a burner. If you have a burner handy, or even just a lighter and you feel confident doing a little lighter against it, that can work too. I'm going to trim off one little extra spot there. But I used a lot of fabric glue. I went a little crazy. Now, I left this little center thing because I was curious if maybe it might look cute with some beads hanging on it. I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. But in her pattern, what she does is she just trims it. And so I think I'll do the same. I will trim that one. That one. There it is. So, you know, this work is, I'm a beginner, so I'm still learning, but there's version 1. Let's do version 2. Version 2 is a little bit more advanced, and I practice it a bunch of times so I can be sure to adequately explain it. It does require a little bit of extra, you know, finessing, but in order to make a tassel, basically what has to happen is we need to join all of these. So first you'll start by bringing this down, this edge cord down as your holding cord, and then you're going to use each of these as working cord. But as you do it, you're going to bring the bring new holding cord along every time, and by the time you get to the center, you'll have a layer of strands that you're burying underneath. So this is kind of like when, I don't know, if anybody's a crocheter, this is where you, when you add some yarn, like where you hide the tail and stitch over it. This is a lot like that to me, it seems like. So what you're going to do is take your edge cord here, okay, and bring it down, and use this as working cord. So far so good. We're doing the same thing we've been doing. There's step 1. I'm going to help that one sit up a little closer. Okay. And then bring this around and under. Bring it up like that. Okay. Now, when you come down here to the next one, using this one as the next working cord, and this is still holding cord, but bring this one along too, and do your work over both of these strands. So go over it, like that, and then over again, like that. Okay, and you'll get something that looks like this. And what you're going to want to do is pull on both of these individually to make sure it gets as tight as possible, especially the one that you're trying to hide. So after you've done that double half-hitch knot, just pull it on both. Okay, so the next part is even funner. So now you got to bring this one down too, and it's going to be worked with, this is the working cord over all 3 of these. Okay, so, and just try to ignore all that stuff there. So over, under, and through. It's going to become increasingly difficult to get that knot to be tight. Because now we're going over 3 different strands. And again, I'm going to individually pull each of these. It's kind of like using my thumbnail right up against the knot. Okay. And, you know, I would love it to be tighter and a little bit more beautiful, but my skill level. I noticed in Marta's work, she just has a very practiced hand. It's like really, really detailed and really good. With me, I'm still trying to get in there. But you can see the steps. So far so good here. Let's just look at the next page. And now I've got this cord still here as our working cord. And now it's saying to stop here once you've got, how many strands have I covered so far? 3. It looks like I have 1 more to go, guys. Okay, so this next one is another working cord. So I want to bring it this way, okay? And then I got to bring this one with it. So on the last step, you're going to have 4 cords inside of that working double half hitch knot. Make sure you capture all 4. Okay, so there's 1. And here's 2. They're different lengths, so they sometimes try to sneak out of your double half hitch knot. So just make sure they stay in there. Once again, I'm going to just pull each strand individually. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that side is brought down. Essentially, we got that. Okay, and now I need to do the same thing with this side. So I'll try to do it a little quicker this time. These are the cords we just worked with, so we're just going to leave those there. We should have 5 cords on this side. And so that's these 5 here. Identify the edgemost one. Make that your first holding cord. Bring that down. And then we're going to use this one as working cord. This first, the next strand down. Bring that up like that. Around once more. Okay. And now it's going to join this one. And we're going to use the next cord down as the next working cord. And it needs to go around both. Like that. Around both. Like that. And then again, I'm going to pull each strand individually. Making sure that I tighten that nicely. Okay. Now the 3 need to come down. 3. And I'll go around, over and through. We're just tailoring this side to be exactly like the former side. Around, over, and through. And see how these guys, they just kind of jump out a little bit. So if you pull, again, just pull each strand by itself. You can even use your thumbnail against the knot you just made. Just kind of help those hide. We have 1 more to hide. Bring that one over here. So you should have a total of 4 cords in your hand. And identify that last working cord. It's going to get tangled up with the ones that you've got over here. So just try to push them aside. It should be the one that was reverse half hitch knotted. So it's this one. Let me move these out of the way for you for a second. This one right here, see? So bring these all over. 4 cords in your hand. And then we're going to bring this over under all of them. Just like that. Try to help that one. 1 more to finish it up. Okay, and once again, I'm just going to pull each strand. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And so those are the steps. I'm not totally excited about my tension on this side. I wish I'd done a little better job, but I got it right on this one. I got it kind of like a little bit. I tend to struggle with that side. So that's the gist of it, that you got to just capture them and bring it down. And now you've got all of this going on here in the center. And I'm going to show you a quick trick for how to do this part. All right, if you have handy a straw, it's going to really help. And then what you'll want to do with that straw is just maybe make it a tiny bit shorter. So I just want to work with a section that's like that big. And it's just a cocktail straw. Anything would kind of work, you know, just any kind of tube. And we've got this here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this strand and we're going to wrap it around like that. And then bring it through and tighten it. And the easiest way to do that is with an assist. Now, and in her instructions, Marta was saying that she just very loosely did the coil part and then was able to feed it through. And I can do that sometimes. I get it. Sometimes it's harder for me to get it to work. So what I'm going to do is free this from the board really quick. And I'll go ahead and just take this part off. I don't need that anymore. Because from here on out, we're just going to kind of hold it in our hand. So here's the next step. Take this, you know, you can do either side you want, really. I'm going to choose this one. It's the one she used. And then grab all the other cords and just bring them together. And bring it in front, like that. And then if you're going to do the straw idea, if you're just going to do it with your hands, that's great too. But I'm going to do the straw idea. And I'm going to bring this around like that. And I'm just going to push a straw here at the back. And I'm just going to hold it as I go around. Okay. And I'm going to wrap it around a few times. Oops. There we go. Okay. I was trying to get that as close as I could. I was being a little picky, but you know, 3 times is probably good. And then here at the back, I'm just going to go through the straw. Pull that through. You can pull the straw out and tighten it. And there you go. So the next thing we're going to want to do is trim. So let me show you that really quick. To do that part, you know what? I kind of thought that the haircut way was the best way. So I just kind of decided my length based on my shortest strand, and that's what it says to do in her pattern. She says identify what your shortest strand is, and you can't really make it any longer than that unless you don't mind that there's a few short ones. And so there you go. Just gonna push those out of the way so you can see how pretty. So that in a nutshell is how to make this beautiful pendant. And my tassel's a little long on that, I might shorten it, but I think it's pretty good. I like both ways, are really cute. And then of course, let me show you the other one I did earlier. The other one is made without a tassel. And so either way, it's gonna be super cute. Use a slightly different color on that one. And again, if you have a burner, you can burn the ends, or you can, if you feel confident doing it, you can just do it lighter, but the fabric glue should kind of melt on it, I think. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, so but that's what it says in the instructions. But so far, I've just been kind of really loving the tassel version. And so that's what I've been mostly doing. Here's my other ones. I love that cord. Came out so pretty. And then, of course, if you want to try other cord, I'm going to show you some other versions you can do. You can try 0.8mm knotting cord. And then my next version of this is going to be made with the Good Broad Micro thread. I'm going to try to make a version with this. And I will definitely share that and post it. But in the meanwhile, for beginners and people who are trying to learn this for the first time, I do recommend using a 1mm like size-ish cord. Test your seed beads, see which ones fit. It's flexible what you want to use. And then last but not least, again, don't forget to check the description for links to everything that that I've been using here, as well as links to a video I am planning to make next, which is going to just take this a step back, which is going to be just, hey, here's how to do double half hitch knots and bring them in different directions, because I think that key element was missing for me when I started learning this. And if I'd had that skill kind of down set, it would have made learning this one a little faster for me. So for anyone who was like me, really just had only done square knots essentially, and what's the hat knot? I call it the hat knot, but it's a the lark's knots, right? I'd only ever done those. I had never done the double half hitch, the reverse half hitch, reverse double half hitch, sorry. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna do another video, and it's gonna be those knots over and over again, just to really hammer them home. And I have a project in mind. It's something that kind of a common thing where people, you know, they bring the diamond and they do the out and they put the bead in the middle and diamonds around a bead. So look for that in the description as well. And I want to wish you happy beading. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.